Hello and welcome! Today, we're going to open up a really powerful toolkit, one that's used to understand what millions of people are thinking and feeling all at once. It's called sentiment analytics, and believe me, it is changing how organizations listen to the world. So, let's dive right in. So, just imagine this for a second. Your company launches a new product, and suddenly you're flooded with millions of tweets, thousands of reviews, and just countless blog posts about it. How in the world do you get a clear picture of what people actually think? I mean, you can't read it all. It's literally impossible. Well, this is the exact problem sentiment analytics was built to solve. And here it is, the solution. You can think of sentiment analytics as a kind of digital Swiss Army knife for understanding opinions. It uses AI to just automatically comb through enormous amounts of text, and yeah, even audio and video, to figure out the emotional tone. Is the vibe positive, is it negative, or is it just kind of neutral? This tool gives you that big picture, and it gives it to you fast. So in this explainer, we're going to unpack this whole toolkit piece by piece. First up, we'll cover the absolute essentials, how you actually gauge the public mood. Then we'll look at the more specialized tools for gaining a real market edge. After that, we'll get into the super cool high-tech attachments that can capture all the nuance. And finally, we'll talk about how you put it all together. All right, let's start with the most fundamental and widely used tools in the kit. And these are all about one thing, and one thing only: listening. Listening to customers, to the market, and to the public conversation as a whole. And these core listening tools, they cover a lot of ground. We're talking about analyzing pretty much everything from social media chatter and customer reviews to the impact of your marketing campaigns. And this one is crucial: detecting a potential crisis before it completely spirals out of control. Okay, so this kind of breaks down the different ways you can listen in. You can analyze social media to get a real-time pulse on how people see your brand. You can sift through all those e-commerce reviews to pinpoint a product's biggest strengths and its most glaring weaknesses. Or you can analyze what's called voice of the customer data. We're talking surveys, call center transcripts, to get that direct, totally unfiltered feedback. Now, here's one of the most critical uses in action: crisis detection. Just imagine an AI that's monitoring your brand name 24/7. All of a sudden, it detects a massive negative spike in online sentiment. An alert is automatically triggered, and it notifies your team instantly. This lets you respond to a potential PR nightmare in minutes, not days. It's basically like a digital smoke detector for your brand's reputation. So, once you've really mastered listening, the next step is to use all that data for a serious strategic advantage. Let's look at the specialized instruments that help you not just hear the market, but actually outmaneuver your competition. So here the focus really shifts. Now we're analyzing competitors, we're predicting market trends, we're gauging the mood of investors, understanding the political landscape, and even turning that lens inward to listen to how our own employees are feeling. And this comparison right here is absolutely key. Brand analysis is kind of defensive. It asks, hey, what do people think of us? But competitor analysis, that's offensive. You point the very same tools at your rivals to find out what their customers are complaining about, and you figure out where you can exploit their weaknesses. It is a complete game changer. The toolkit can also get way more specific. So market sentiment analysis takes a really wide view of the overall economic mood. But stock market sentiment analysis, that zooms way in, analyzing financial news and social media chatter to try and predict how a specific stock might move. One gauges the mood of the crowd, the other gauges the mood of the traders. And this is really important. This toolkit isn't just for looking outside the company's walls. By analyzing internal data, think anonymous surveys or company chat channels, organizations can get a really honest read on employee morale. They can identify burnout risks and just understand what truly matters to their team. Okay, now for the really, really cool stuff. We've seen the core tools, we've seen the strategic instruments. Now let's look at the high-tech attachments. These are the precision tools that allow us to understand the deep, subtle nuances of human language. Early sentiment analysis was pretty basic. A comment was either good or bad, positive or negative. And yeah, it was helpful, but it missed a ton of the detail and how people actually talk. So the first big upgrade was what we call fine-grained analysis. Instead of just a simple thumbs up or thumbs down, the AI could now classify sentiment on a scale, from very positive all the way down to very negative. And this gives you a much more accurate measurement of that emotional intensity. But the next leap was even more impressive: emotion detection. The AI can now go beyond just positive or negative to identify specific human emotions. So, is a negative review angry? Or is it sad? Or maybe fearful? Knowing the difference is incredibly powerful for things like customer service and product development. And the advanced tools don't even stop there. Aspect-based analysis can tell you exactly what people like or dislike about something. It knows that a review saying the battery life is great but the camera is awful contains both positive and negative feedback about two different things. Then you've got sarcasm detection, which is smart enough to understand that, great, another software update, is almost certainly a complaint. And finally, multilingual analysis lets all of this incredible tech work across dozens of languages around the world. Okay, so we have all of these amazing tools, but how do you actually manage them all, right? The final part of mastering this toolkit is all about bringing the data together and turning it into real actionable decisions.
And this is where dashboards come in. They are the command center for your entire sentiment analytics operation. They give you real-time visualizations and let you analyze trends over time. Dashboards are what transform that flood of raw data into a clear picture that actually helps people make smarter decisions.
But look, mastering the toolkit isn't just about cool dashboards. A tool this powerful has to be used with care and with precision. Because when you have the ability to analyze sentiment at this scale, you have to be absolutely sure the insights you're getting are accurate and reliable. And that brings us to this idea of model governance. You can think of it like a quality control framework. It's about having rules and processes to make sure the AI models are consistent, accurate, and that the results are understandable. It means asking practical questions like, does the model drift over time? Is it interpreting new slang correctly? It's really about the human oversight that's needed to keep a complex tool sharp and effective. And all of that leaves us with a final, really fascinating question. The technology to measure how people feel on a global scale, it's here. We have the toolkit. The real challenge now is deciding how we use that knowledge to build better products, to create better workplaces, and to foster better public conversations. What we do with that power, well, that's up to us.